Welcome to the Private Property Podcast, where we provide valuable knowledge and information on all things property related. Whether you are a first-time home buyer, a seasoned investor, or looking for some expert advice, we got you covered. So tune in every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. for tips, insights, and expert advice on burning topics related to property. Because this is the Private Property Podcast. And remember, you can find your new home on privateproperty.co.za. On tonight's episode, we'll be talking about the abundance of opportunities currently available for the young people in the property sector. As you may have noticed, this is a very special episode of the Private Property Podcast. And I'm your host, Divan de Priya, your friendly neighborhood home inspector, and joining me in the studio to discuss and unpack all these fascinating topics, Ben Malapile, Director of Operations at 18th Avenue Properties. But before we dive into this conversation, remember to comment with us below and share your thoughts on today's show. You can join the conversation by using the hashtag Find Your New Home on privateproperty.co.za, hashtag Private Property Podcast, all social media. We'll be keeping an eye out on your post, and we may even feature some of your comments in the show. Because this is the Private Property Podcast, where we provide you with valuable information on all things property related. So, hi Ben, how you doing, brother man?
Good, and yourself?
I'm fantastic. So Ben, introduce us briefly and tell us a bit more about your journey into the property sector. What's going on your side?
All right. So my name is Ben Malapile, and I'm a property practitioner with Harcourt's Fourways, and work predominantly in the North Riding area, helping homeowners in the area sell their properties in 30 days or less.
Wow.
Then I'm also a property investor. So buy and hold properties using multiple strategies, and that's essentially what I do.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm sure you've got a million stories about that side as well, investing and all those lovely, lovely things. I'm sure you got. Lovely.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've got, I normally say do property all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. So
no, that's it. We never sleep. That's exactly the thing. So
yes.
Ben tells us what excites you about property, and what excites you about this property? What do you get in the specific industry? What excites you? Tell me a bit more about that.
So I'd say it's on two sides: the side of the being a practitioner and the side of the investor. So on the side of being a property practitioner, what excites me is obviously going into these new homes on a daily basis. How other owners furnish their places. It's pretty exciting to look at. It's a nice way to get to draw some inspiration from it. So I also enjoy that part of it. And obviously the one that's close to my heart is actually helping homeowners or buyers rather find that dream home of theirs, handing over those keys to them.
Absolutely, bro.
So
it's the human side to what it is.
Yes, it's a very nice thing, and you watch the kids fight over bedrooms.
Yeah,
that's
it, brother. Mine. It's not just a house in the end of the day. It's not just 4 bricks in the roof. It's a home. It's hectic Sundays and lovely Mondays. It's getting the kids up and ready to go to school. It's birthday parties and brides. Always remember the human side to what it is.
Exactly.
That we do,
exactly.
And you gotta absolutely love it.
Of course.
You gotta love it. All right, so I wrote down the next one so I don't forget it. So Ben. Data from the Deeds Office shows that buyers below 35 are at an age now where they account for 43% of the residential sales. Yet the unemployed figures for South Africa youth between the ages of 15 to 24 years old is 62.1%. Unemployment and the figures for the ages 25 to 34 years old is 39.9%. Unemployment. Despite all this, about 43% of residential sales are buyers below the age of 35. So Ben, please shed some light on this property trend amongst the millennials. Oh, the weird ones, the millennials. I love them.
Well, I would say the reason why there's so much youth buying properties is because, some don't come from places where they were staying with their grandparents particularly those that grew up in townships, you find that there was a whole lot of you staying in one home. Probably didn't even have your own bedroom, so it
So
obviously.
you had to share it with your sister, and she's got that weird Barbie doll, so nobody
Yes,
wants that.
exactly.
Bigger now. Okay.
Yeah, so those that did well went to school, got educated, and got jobs. Their first thing they want to do is actually buy a property. And I also noticed, also with my peers, most of them bought, a huge chunk of them bought cars at 20, 21, 22, right? So obviously, you quickly paid off within the first 6 years, and then after that, the next step obviously is to get a home.
Yeah.
So as much as
you got the car, man, you just need to get the palace now. That's what it is. Yeah, with the swimming pool and all that. Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
So as much as we youth values the car and the respect that the car brings with it. We also want a home. A lot of them are also buying homes for their parents who weren't fortunate enough to buy their own homes.
But that's the dream, is it not? To be able to buy your parents that dream home. Where they also get their own bedroom.
Exactly.
Yeah, mom is now tired of dad. So each one needs their own bedroom.
If it's big enough. Yeah. So it's that, and then of course there's that portion where you have the youth who want to create wealth, the youth that wants to build a legacy for themselves, their
something
family
behind for their kids as well.
So there's those who are actually investing in property where they would maybe rather rent somewhere and then actually buy a property, put tenants there, and create some income from it. So as much as too often than not, people take shots at the youth as they're always at conga partying and things like that, right? But there is that element to it where the youth does know that property is the way to go. And
I absolutely agree with it.
Exactly.
They're not making any more land. That's where they're not making any more land, so buy into property, and I love the millennials. I love talking to them, and you have not lived until you've been hugged by a bodybuilder, millennial bodybuilder. Oh, that's just thank you for being part of this journey, So
exactly.
You haven't lived, so I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So I'd say that's why, even as a property practitioner, sometimes I get surprised. A 2-3 million rent house and people who are my age are coming and viewing, and I get so surprised that
you also get so excited for them,
that wow,
oh, wow.
and that's actually how you find out that we want a home, we want it for ourselves, we're getting married soon.
I love it when they tell me I'm getting married soon.
And then I also want an extra bedroom for my parents when they come visit, an extra bedroom for his parents when they come visit.
Yeah, usually at the back,
of course,
the granny flat in the back.
Away from them.
Way. So I love them. I just don't want them in my house, outside. That's where outside.
So I think if you're fortunate enough to get a good job, work in corporate or whatever while you're still young, then you have that entire 10 years of your 20s to do all those fancy things, buy all those fancy clothes, and then once you're bored of them, you'll buy a property. Oh,
brother, I wish I knew you when I was in my 20s, because I didn't go that route at all. I didn't buy the fancy clothes and things like that. I went construction, that's what I did. My first truck was a Ford F-250, that thing was heavy on fuel that I like to mention, but if I knew about this side of things, this conversation would have been different, I would have invested in property rather than trying to fix the truck every week, so... Yeah, invest. They're not making you more land. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, but the whole Chinese proverb that says that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today.
Yeah. So just start doing it. That's the thing I always tell people, start looking at things like that. Give Ben a call. He knows what he's talking about. Give Ben a call. I know the home inspection side. Give Ben a call. He'll talk to you the other side. And that's beautiful. All right. So what kinds of opportunities are available for young people in the property sector? And please feel free to give examples for people entertaining the market and those already established in the market.
All right.
Ooh.
So
that's a good question.
I think when someone thinks property, all they think about is buying a property.
Yeah.
See, when I meet people, family gatherings or brides, what do you do? Like, do property? Like, I already have a house. I don't want another one.
Yeah.
So the thing is, property is a whole, circle of different kind of careers,
it's a circle of life.
Yes. Yeah. So, I would say there's the side there's plenty of sides, but
Yeah.
let me say the standard ones that people know is being a property practitioner, or being a builder, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now on there's many aspects. I'll use the legal one for example.
Yeah.
So most people, want to be they want to be lawyers. They watch Suits and they're like,
I never wanted
See.
to do that. I wanted to be the construction worker.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. You're different, but you see,
Thank you, I try.
when they do law, some of them don't even know that there's conveyancing, which is property law,
Yeah.
where you deal with the transferring of properties.
Yeah,
So there's no way you can buy or sell a property without a
You
conveyancer.
need a lawyer. That's what it is. You need one of the
Exactly.
consequences. I agree.
Then on the accountant side of things,
Mhm.
if you're gonna do if actually you're going to do investing,
Yeah.
there should be an accountant that runs your books, and
Yeah.
preferably an accountant that's in the property space.
An accountant that knows what they're doing. That's the
Exactly,
biggest thing. You have somebody that knows. You have the right team behind you that knows what
Exactly.
you're doing. Yeah.
And then you also have, of course, the construction side. And
Yeah.
the construction side is not only the builder. You've got the architect, you've
the
got
engineer,
the
the home
engineers,
inspector.
you've got the
yes,
home inspector,
Yeah.
you've got the interior designer.
Yeah.
It's
I love the interior designers, man. They're
see.
just, I love them. They're always,
Yeah, so there's a whole lot that goes into that. Then I mean, even the engineering part of it, because I was actually talking to a developer recently, and he said, if you don't know what's underneath the land, then you don't know what to put on it.
Oh,
So-
I've got stories for you there, man. I've got so many stories, brother. It's insane.
You see, so before you actually start digging and building, you also need an engineer who's going to
Yeah,
actually
surveyor
look at the
telling
land.
you that this is the drainage, and
Exactly.
this is the type of soil that you're dealing with.
Exactly. And
Just get a home inspector as well, because most of those guys, what I've seen from myself as well, most of those guys, they seem to speak a little bit of Greek. Most of the average Joe is sitting there with the reports like, yes, I know exactly. Yeah, I have no idea what they're talking about, So it's working together, brother.
exactly. You see, you also have your plumbers.
Yeah.
And then let me take it also to the creative side.
Yeah.
So I heard last my principal where I work mentioned that just last week alone we paid around 15,000 to the photographer.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And that sparked something in my head. I was like, whoa, what? 15?
Yeah.
And when I ran the numbers, it made sense. You've got this whole office that you're taking pictures for, and you're not restricted to work with one office. You're probably working with a couple of other offices in the area. So that obviously you can make some good money just by being a property photographer. Obviously, you have to be professional. And,
there's a bag full of toys that you need. You need the drone and the correct lighting. You can't show up there with a 30-year-old Nokia 3310. Trying to depict. No, you need the right equipment.
You see, so they also make good money, and then. I mean, I could talk about this the whole day.
I see it. I absolutely see it. Yeah.
So, but then even for example, some people, I meet a lot of youth that want to get involved into property, but don't have money, right? More so the property investing space.
Yes.
So with the property investing space, I mean, there's plenty of property investors around. So you could easily just go there, volunteer, do the entire. That's what I did when I started.
Intern with them.
Yes, I interned with them, run around, dealt
go
with
get
all
the coffee.
contractors.
Yes, go get the coffee.
Run around with the contractors, did all the viewings, managed all the
Yes.
tenants,
Yeah.
and I learned so much through that. It also empowered me to a point where when I started my own property portfolio, I had already learned.
The
3 years.
small
worth
little
of,
things.
Yes,
That's the biggest thing. Learn
you
the
see.
small little things.
and avoided a couple of mistakes too. So there's a whole lot that the youth can actually do. But it's just everyone is restricted to buying a house, investing. You need all the millions to invest in property.
It's a circle of life, man. There's always, where there's a will, there's a way. That's just the way that it
Exactly.
is. Where there's a will, there's a way. So seeing that we're talking about the youth here now, especially, what is your hope for the youth in South Africa in regards to ownership and acquisition of property and land? All those lovely, lovely things. What's your hope right there? What do you got?
Yeah, well, ideally, it would be nice for everyone to have to be able to be a homeowner, especially if you're young. It's sometimes they say you don't take your house anywhere, no one will see it. But then
it's your home, man.
it's your home.
Like
You don't
we
want
said,
to.
it's lazy Sundays and everything.
Yeah, you don't want to sleep in the car. You can have a nice fancy GTI that you come
But
here.
those seats don't fall flat, man, and you can't sleep in a GTI. You
Exactly.
can't.
See, but you can always sleep in your home.
Yes.
They can hijack your GTI and take it, and then it's all
They
gone.
borrow it without permission. Let's
Exactly.
not go, borrow it without permission.
Exactly. But with your property, they can come and borrow your TV without your permission. But then you can always buy it back.
Yeah.
But no one can ever steal the structure
No.
and leave with it, right?
No.
So yes, and then so here's something interesting. So I did some research recently, and I found out after the Burj Khalifa was
Yeah.
built, right?
Yeah.
Tallest building in the world.
I
So-
know that when I follow a group on Dubai, they talk about that a lot. That's just engineering marvel for me, That's
Yes.
whoa, I love it. All right.
So I thought, I asked myself, okay, which one is the tallest building in Africa? So this was back in 2018, and then
what did you find?
I discovered that the Carlton Center in Johannesburg is
What?
the tallest building in Africa, and
Since when? That's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
been since 1973.
See, so now it's time for change, man.
Exactly. So-
Everything's been stagnant for too long. Now it's time for change.
Exactly. So 1973 all the way to
Yeah.
2019 when
Yeah.
they built the Leonardo in Sandton.
All right.
And then that was the tallest building in Africa for
Yeah.
just 2 years. Now they're building another tallest building in Egypt. So South Africa is no
Ooh.
longer
Yeah,
part of the
okay.
tallest building list.
We can change that. Don't worry, we can
So
change that.
my
Mm.
dream for the youth is, it would be nice if a South African now,
Yeah.
we have our own Burj Khalifa.
Oh, that would be
Tallest
lovely,
building.
man. Just imagine that. That would be lovely.
Exactly.
I love your vision. I
you see,
love it.
then we'll
Yes.
have everyone from the world coming
Yeah.
to see the tallest building right here in South African
Oh,
soil.
lovely. Yeah. So talking about the youth, I love talking about the youth. So for somebody coming into this property industry right now, give me your elevator pitch. Why should more young South Africans consider venturing into the property sector? Why? Give me your elevator pitch, man. We're going
Why?
to the 11th floor. Tell me all about it. Why?
So 100 years ago, the most wealthiest people in the world were property investors.
That's all.
Today, 79% of the richest people in the world are property investors. Even in future, the richest people or wealthiest people in the world will be property investors. So I would say if you want to create wealth for yourself and your family, property is definitely the way to go.
I love it. Absolutely. Yeah, just go with the property sector. There's so many ways, like we just discussed, there's so many ways you can get into that and create something, not only for yourself, but your family as well.
Correct.
And buy that Ford GT along with that 3 million rand property, with a little place at the back for the
parents.
in-laws. In-laws. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for being here on the Private Property Podcast. I do appreciate your time.
Thank you for
And that's
hosting
what
me.
we got.